Good evening. Thank you, Harvey. First of all, where is Harvey? Wow, you're so energetic. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful introduction and for all that you do for Magen David Adom. Thank you. And again, good evening, everyone. You know, coming from Israel, nothing could have prepared me for winters in New York. So while it's always nice visiting Miami, during this time of the year, I'm especially thankful to be here. So thank you for inviting me. Mada, FDA. Before I begin, I would like to thank the event chairs, Patty Goldstein and Lauren and Adam Wheeler. Yeah, they deserve it. And of course the host committee for all of their hard work. Thank you for making this evening a reality. Thank you. I would also like to thank the Magen David Adom staff here with us tonight. My dear, dear friend, Director General Eli Bin, and Chief of Staff Uri Shacham. You both, alongside 2,500 MDA staff and 32,000 MDA volunteers, have dedicated your lives to saving others. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. To the Goldstein family, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude. Patty, I may not have known Barry, but every person who knew him sings his praises. His love for his family, friends, and everyone in need knew no bounds. And his devotion to Magen David Adom not only set an example for so many others, but also saved hundreds of thousands of lives. And you all know that according to Jewish tradition, our sages teach that whoever saves even one life is as if they saved an entire world. So Patty, I deeply thank you and the rest of the Goldstein family for being the epitome of world savers. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Last, but certainly not least, I thank every single person in this room. By being here tonight and contributing to this unbelievable organization, you are all world savers, so you deserve a round of applause. Applaud yourself. Friends, throughout my career, I have always made it my mission to stand up for Israel. Whether as a member of Knesset or a minister, you heard from Harvey, and today as ambassador, it is my job to be a shield for Israel and build our resilience in the face of ever-evolving threats. But I'm far from being the only one in the room doing so, because all of you, by supporting Magen David Adom, each and every one of you is a staunch defender of Israel, playing a crucial role in safeguarding our Jewish homeland. And let me explain why and how. Today, our enemies know that they cannot, Baruch Hashem, defeat us on the conventional battlefield. They don't have a chance. Today, as I said, thank God, unlike many other times throughout history, we can defend ourselves. So rather than facing the full might of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, one of the most, as you know, formidable, technologically advanced militaries in the world, our enemies today have chosen a different strategy. They attack us where they think we are weak, by attacking our citizens at the home front. As you know, they carry out horrific acts of terror, targeting innocent civilians and arm themselves with hundreds of thousands of rockets pointed at our towns and cities. This threat against our civilians and the home front today is the prime threat against Israel in the present. So while Of course, our brave soldiers work day and night defending Israel from these threats. When tragedy strikes, and we've all seen it in the video that was screened here, the first teams on the ground, the teams that literally save lives, are the Magen David Adom teams. Eli, when I served as Minister of Home Front Defense, and you remember it very well, you took me on a tour that I'll never forget. At the height of the war in Gaza in 2014, I think it was called Protective Edge, you took me to the state-of-the-art Magen David Adom call center in Ashdod. So while Hamas rockets rained down indiscriminately on Israel, on our citizens, your brave team members were dispatched to save lives. And I will say here, and I will repeat the same words that I said back then today. Magen David Adom is a crucial piece of Israel's national resilience. From the widespread deployment, rapid arrival times, advanced technology, equipment, and emergency centers, Magen David Adom today plays a focal role in defending Israel's home front. And thanks to the contributions of everyone here, the citizens of Israel can sleep soundly at night. And now you all truly deserve a round of applause. Thank you. I thank you. The state of Israel thank you. Friends, I told you that our enemies cannot defeat us on the conventional battlefield. So they target our home front. But you should know, terrorism today is not their only weapon against Israel. Beyond physical attacks, they also employ another tactic. And what is this tactic? They actively work to demonize and isolate Israel in the international community. It's not a surprise for you. They also seek to attack us economically and culturally, with the BDS of course, all in order to dash any hopes for a brighter future. Their goal is to delegitimize the one and only Jewish state in order to destroy us. And nowhere, as you know, is this abhorrent tactic clearer than at the United Nations, of course. Listen to this. The numbers are unbelievable. Israel, a country that represents 1/10 of 1% of the world's population, receives, you know how many condemnations? 70% of the UN's condemnation. 70%. In the past year, while a war raged in Europe, in Ukraine, and Iran murdered innocent protesters, how many? 15 UN resolutions targeting Israel, the only liberal, vibrant democracy in the Middle East, were adopted. Do you know how many were passed against the rest of the world combined? 13. Only 13. The whole world. If this double standard doesn't scream anti-Semitism, I don't know what does. So many of you may be asking yourself, okay, but does it really matter? It's not as if the UN has any actual influence. You know that the UN resolutions, most of them are not legally binding, only the Security Council. Well, I'll tell you something. You are not the first Zionist to raise this question. In Hebrew, who knows how we call the UN? The UN is called the Haumot HaMuchadot. Okay? And David Ben-Gurion, in a way, don't tell the secrets, back up. In a way to describe the ineffectiveness of the UN, referred to it as he said, Shmum, similar to how you say Joe Schmo, yeah? But sadly, seriously, today, what happens at the UN doesn't stay at the UN. Because this, not Vegas, okay, the UN, this institution with its anti-Semitic bias has become weaponized against Israel, against the Jewish people. Today, as you know, we live in an era where due to the media and the internet, the weaponization of the UN has become so much more harmful. Why? Because lies today can travel around the world before the truth can even get its shoes on. And these lies can cause immense destruction to the state of Israel. Beyond promoting boycotts and sanctions against the Jewish state, the UN's anti-Israel falsehoods are often translated into acts of physical violence against Jews. Just remember, you probably remember the violent anti-Semitic attacks that we witnessed during Operation Guardian of the Walls in May 2021. By falsely blaming Israel, the UN paints a target, literally a target on every Jew's back. Mere weeks ago, a package of Palestinian-led resolutions was adopted in the UN. And one of these resolutions aims to literally hand the International Court of Justice the decision-making ability regarding the conflict. As you understand, probably understand, the goal of this dangerous move is to force Israel to give in to all of the Palestinians' demands. All of them, by using this International Court of Justice. No negotiations, it's not needed, no mutual concessions, just another UN body imposing one side's demand on the other. This is not how conflicts are resolved. On the contrary, Israel signed peace agreements with how many, you know? 6 Arab countries. And not one of those agreements was signed due to UN intervention or involvement and coercion. We all remember that the Palestinians have rejected every single peace initiative, every single one of them, whether presented by President Clinton or by President Trump, by Prime Minister Barak or by Prime Minister Olmert. The Palestinians never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. We all know it. In fact, they have shown time after time through incitement, through terror funding, and the glorification of violence, that peace was never their goal. And we all know what is their true goal. Their tactic is to perpetuate the conflict and use every means to bring about the Jewish state's destruction. And these resolutions that I described aim to achieve exactly that. But friends, I have a message for all of our haters, and you exactly know this message. Many others have tried to destroy us, but none have succeeded. This time will be no different. They will never prevail. They will never prevail. I believe that when fighting the UN's bias against the Jewish state, the best approach is to go on the offensive. You know, we have nothing to hide and nothing to be ashamed of. We must call out our enemies, lay bare their hypocrisy, and make them pay a heavy price for their hate, a very heavy price. And this, friends, is exactly what I do every day at the UN. I go on the offensive in the battle for the truth. And I'll give you a few examples. When Ben and Jerry's decided to boycott Israel, we quickly showed them, by the way, with the help of the state of Florida, we showed them that a heavy price is paid for discrimination and anti-Israeli actions. In a time when Holocaust denial is on the rise, and Harvey mentioned it, I succeeded, thank God, to pass a historic resolution in the General Assembly that gives countries practical tools to combat this twisted phenomenon. When the UN refused to recognize rock throwings against Israelis, specifically in Judea and Samaria and Jerusalem, they refused to recognize it as terror attacks. I literally smuggled a rock into the Security Council, yes, and presented it to show the ambassador that rocks can kill. So friends, the truth must be told, and I am fighting every day to tell it. But beyond going on the offensive, I also fight the UN's anti-Israel bias by also showcasing the enormous global contributions that Israel gives to the world. And this is the second way that I dispel the darkness at the UN. Because Israel, the startup nation, as you know, is a hub of creativity. I don't know if you are aware of it, but today Israel has more startups. It attracts more venture capital investment and invests more in research and development per capita than any other country around the world. We're number one in the number of startups per capita. So when it comes to innovation, we punch far above our weight. Our technological advancement tackles some of the most pressing global challenges, from, you name it, water scarcity and food insecurity to digital health, cyber defense, and beyond. And we don't just keep these advancements to ourselves. We share our knowledge with countries that need it. Much more than other nations, the startup nation is deeply dedicated to saving lives. Just look at Magen David Adom, the groundbreaking AI, artificial intelligence technology used in Israel to dispatch first responders in the blink of an eye, is now being used where? Here, in South Florida. So when it comes to making the world a better place, Israel is always at the forefront. But it goes beyond technology. Whenever there is a disaster, whether it's an earthquake in Nepal or Mexico City, the war in Ukraine, or the tragic collapse that was mentioned here tonight of the building in Surfside, Israeli soldiers, medics, and doctors are the first ones on the ground making a difference. Making a difference. You know, when the tragedy in Surfside occurred, I came down here to South Florida as quickly as I could. I was also Israel's ambassador in the United States at the time. I saw with my own eyes the admiration and respect that local authorities and the victims' families had for our soldiers and their efforts. So these contributions are what I share every day. I share them with my colleagues at the UN through many creative initiatives and events. And once they see, the ambassadors, what Israel does for the world, it's much harder for them to vote against us. So, although we have not yet broken the automatic anti-Israel majority at the UN, it's not going to happen overnight, we are definitely heading in the right direction. Today, Israel's global impact, alongside our recent, thank God, peace agreements, diminishes the number of countries that choose to vote against us and increase the number of countries that seek to deepen the relation with Israel. As I said, it's an uphill battle, but each day, thank God, brings a small victory. So friends, while I defend Israel on the world stage, you here are all contributing to Israel's defense at home. Your support is the lifeline of this life-saving organization, MDA, MADA. Thanks to each and every one of you, there is not a single Israeli who doesn't know that help is only one call away. But it's more than that. Magen David Adom, it was also mentioned, that's the problem of speaking, the last one's speaker. Magen David Adom not only safeguards Israel, it is Israel. MDA's ranks are filled. They are filled with tens of thousands of volunteers from every background and faith of the diverse tapestry that is Israeli society. Jews, Christians and Muslims, men and women, the secular and the ultra-Orthodox, teenagers and seniors, all come together for the sacred mission of saving lives and strengthening Israel's national resilience. And this would not be possible without you. So I deeply thank you for all that you have done and continue to do for the state of Israel. And again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.